Good evening and welcome to the shores of Lough here down at Kinnego Marina. The marina behind us, the setting sun, so you can tell what time of the evening it is. The summer's almost gone. We're into early September. And we're here for a very special reason tonight. We're here with some people who are going to tell us about a very special appeal that's been ongoing and an event that's coming up on the 11th of November. To my right here is Ruairi McVeigh, who will tell us a little bit about the event and all the rest of it in a moment or two. But with us is Maurice O'Neill. Maurice, we're here largely in the memory of your son, Odhran.
Yes. Odhran passed away, unfortunately, on the 17th of December. He was in Thailand. And him and his group of friends on a holiday of a lifetime. And he just got in trouble in a little bay, just something similar to this. He assumed that he was a big, strong lad, which he was. They didn't put life jackets on. Yeah, and he didn't make it out of the water. It's just left us with...
And we'll not dwell on too much because it's extremely emotional for you to talk about. Thankfully, to know that certainly the people in Lurgan rode in behind your efforts to make the awareness of that and the circumstance. And that's all grown out of that is what we're going to talk about.
Exactly, yes. Just be aware and just be safe. That's all we want to get that message out. You know, the young ones, you're not infallible. You know what
A lot of people will know, or I've never met him myself. What sort of character was he?
Okay, he was the life and soul of every party. He was in Norbrook. He was on his final stages of doing his pharmaceutical degree, which he graduated with. But he just lit up our lives. He was heavily into fitness. He just lived for it, you know.
You have other children too.
Michaela, she's working in childcare. She just misses him, totally misses him. They were very, very good friends, as along with brother and sister.
As you only can be expect, I'm from 10th of 11, so I know the importance of bonds like that.
Yes.
Well, let's talk to the nephew, I suppose, nephew-in-law, or a connection to this. What's your connection with Odhran?
So, me and Maurice are married to two sisters, so Odhran was my nephew. Like Maurice has already said, you know, a huge part of our family, Donagh, and obviously the tragic events of December has led us all together. And when this happened, Maurice and Claire and Michaela made it very clear that they wanted some sort of positive outcomes out of this, and they did not want any other families to go through this, what they're going through at this stage. And so we came together and as a family in the midst of all the grief, and we decided to channel our energy into doing something really positive. And Maurice and Claire's overarching objective really is, like he's already said, is to try and, I suppose, get that message out there around water safety and life jacket safety in particular. And that's the main reason behind the fundraiser. Obviously, we're here at this fantastic charity, Lough Search and Rescue. So we've got our event, like you've talked around, on the 11th of November in the Woodville, and we went live with our Facebook page last Thursday, Maurice, wasn't it? We launched our tickets on Friday, and on Sunday evening we sold our 250th ticket, so we're already sold out to maximum capacity, which is just amazing.
Absolute phenomenal.
Amazing response from the people, and you know, like you said, Donagh, the people of Lurgan and wider afield have just been absolutely amazing, and scooped Maurice and Claire and Michaela and the wider family circle up, and have been just absolutely amazing and really supportive. So you know, it's just the start. Maurice and Claire want Odhran to be remembered and his name to continue on, and if we can support that in any way, and by getting the message out there to ensure that, you know, that message is loud and clear, and, you know, wear a life jacket, and like Maurice has said, nobody's infallible, and if we can just reach one person and make that one person think, then we'll have done our job. So
we're going to go into the lifeboat station, which is behind us here. So let's walk there. We're going to meet one of the lifeguards, and perhaps with the responsibility this evening, standing on duty, has opened the doors of the actual building for us. And thank you for doing that. Now, we were tempted earlier, Manus, I think it is. Manus, we were tempted to park in front, but the signs here don't allow us to, so we just didn't bother.
That doesn't put an awful lot of people off. There's a lot of times we would get people parking right across here. We even had a gentleman arrive down one Sunday and had his Sunday dinner in the caravan and unloaded everything. So hopefully most people can read, but it is important. When we're launching, we require the whole space. We'll go back into the boathouse now and I can show you around. The boat normally lives in the boat hall. We have a brand new boat which is in getting its first service in the maintenance shop next door, and our backup lifeboat is in the compound next door.
Wow, so you're covering all emergencies. When one's out, the other's working, vice versa.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the boat is always left in a permanent state of readiness. So it's always fueled, it's always all the equipment on board, and it's all ready to go, should it be required.
Well, let's go inside, get a little bit more about the organisation. Is it a charitable organisation? Is it sponsored by whom, or how does it fund itself?
We're a charity. We're all volunteers. We rely heavily on donations from the members of the public, and we get some government assistance in terms of grants from the Department of Justice, and we are members of the NISAR, which is the Northern Ireland Search and Rescue Forum. As part of that, we also, as well as operating the lifeboat crew, we have a station here in Kinnego. We have one on the west shore in Ardbow and one on the northeast corner up in Antrim. So we have 3 stations around the loch to cover the whole of the loch and all the tributaries flowing into it. But we also run swift water response teams who can be tasked to go anywhere. So, for example, for flood emergencies, any rivers, fast flowing rivers and things like that. So that's primarily, this is our van, which is used as a response vehicle, and our little Milpro inflatable boat and our sleigh.
We'll just walk down to be beside it there. So this is a group that are called upon on many occasions. And is it voluntary? Are there any paid officers in it, or how does it run?
No, we're all volunteers. We all give up our time to attend call-outs. We have a very structured and strict training regime, which requires us to keep a certain competency level, and it's assessed repeatedly. So on a Tuesday night, we have our traditional training night, which is tonight, and so we would normally train on a Tuesday night. We are all volunteers. There's nobody in the organisation is paid. I'm one of the directors of the company, and we all take it in turn being directors of the company, and we all just give our time for free.
So it's a real dedication, fantastic work that you have to do. We're going to take a look at this kind of the secondary boat, is it, did you say?
This is a swift water boat. So this would be used to deployed if there were, for example, floods in particular areas, or river exercises and things like that. So it's a little inflatable boat. It's called a Zodiac Milpro.
When you say inflatable, do you have to blow it up by hand?
Well, no. We have. Well, there's 2 ways of blowing up. We have a little electric pump which will blow it up, and we also have canisters which can inflate it very, very quickly. And we'll carry those in the van. There's also a little outboard motor that we put on the back of it, which obviously allows us to get up and down the fast-flowing rivers. This item on top is called a sleigh. It's a rescue sleigh. So we don't put a motor on this, but we would have. Our technicians would be on this, and it can be used to go back into maybe undergrowth in the side of a river, or you can use it like a little kayak where you're paddling through as well. So this is pretty much our swift water response equipment. We also have different suits for swift water response as opposed to the lifeboat. We train, our crew train to be swift water rescue technicians, which is a level which allows you to enter the water and set up lines across the water and things like that as well. So that's another aspect of volunteering with Lough Rescue as opposed to just going out on the lifeboat.
And doing that, you have saved lives. Over the years, you've saved many lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's quite funny because I was just explaining to the guys before you arrived that a lot of the call-outs we'll get will be a boat has broken down or it has run out of fuel. You know, these things, if they happen in a car, it's relatively easy to get somebody to come and help you. But if you're on a boat in the middle of the water, you can't. And our big incentive, our big motivation is we will treat every one of those like an emergency call, because the last thing you want is someone to get into the water and say, sure, I'll swim over, the shore's only over there. And if you're in the water, if you're out in the water and you're looking at the land, it looks really, really close because it's so big. And it can be very, very deceptive how far away that is. And on the boat, you're maybe not aware of what the wind conditions are doing, you know, and you can get into a world of pain very, very quickly. So we would treat every one of those as an immediate response, every bit as much as there's somebody in the water. So that we want to try and prevent a tragedy happening, want to prevent people entering the water, and that's really our modus operandi.
It's a pretty rough and not very welcoming place at the moment, so I suppose swimmers are keeping away from that. The algae that's collecting there. Have you had to go and do any rescues recently?
Yeah, we've been out on a few. We've probably maybe 3 or 4 in the last couple of weeks. It does make it a little bit more tricky for us in terms of a lot of times we would maybe commit a crewman or a crew member into the water to maybe attach a tow line or something like that. We need to think long and hard about doing that because the threat of blue-green algae poisoning is real. I've suffered from it myself a couple of weeks ago, and it is not a pleasant thing to get. So we have reassessed how we can operate. Sometimes, I mean, there was one last Friday night where we had no option but to put a guy into the water because we couldn't get in close enough. It was too shallow and risked damaging our boat. But we follow full decontamination processes whenever the person comes out of the water. So they're hosed down, they're detergent, they're decontaminated, hand gels, clean their face and everything else. And on the outside of our dry room, we have hot showers. So people can shower their PPE, all their gear down, and hopefully remove most of the toxic algae.
Where do you get your volunteers from? I mean, it's not an easy thing to get involved in. I know fire service offer look volunteers as well. You got to go hard looking for them.
Yeah, they come from a vast different background. Some of them are boat people. I mean, myself, the reason and this a lot of times when you arrive on the scene, if there's someone who's broke down, they're very apologetic. They're, oh my God, we're sorry for hassling you. And I always say to them, look, don't worry about it. The reason I joined the lifeboat is because I called them out that many times to come and rescue me, that I needed to give something back. And that is the truth. So you get people who have been boating, who are involved in boating. You get people who just come down because it's something to volunteer at. The beauty about it is you don't need experience to be a lifeboat volunteer. We provide a full structured training programme which brings everybody up to a standard which allows them to go out and do a call out, and we train them to be able to drive the boat. We put them through their powerboat level 2, which is the equivalent of your driving licence for a boat. We also train them to do the navigation both on the chart, on a traditional paper chart, and on what people commonly refer to as a GPS. And we train them how to do the radio communication, so when we're communicating with Coast Guard and with other vessels as well. So we provide all the training in-house. So we have people there who have never set foot on a boat before who join and become lifeboat volunteers, and with people who have many years of experience in the boating community.
Well, hopefully you get many more people coming, not just to support you in the kind of work you do, but the funding, like the event that we're talking about, that's very important to keep that up.
It's hugely important. As I say, we are all volunteers. Nobody from top to bottom in the organisation gets paid, and we rely heavily on community funding. And it's difficult, particularly now, cost of living. And, you know, we often say one of the most humbling things we'll do is we'll do a bucket collection at maybe the local super value, and people will literally be so generous with what they give you. You know, ladies will empty their purse into the bucket, and you sometimes want to say, look, are you okay about doing that? You know, but people are so generous, and when they see the kind of work that we do and the hours that we work and the day and night, you know, during working hours, we take time out of our work, out of our jobs, to respond if the pager goes. And it's kind of very humbling when you see the response you get when you're out in the community.
Well, you have much to be humble about the work that you do, much respected by any of us. Many never have been on the Lough at all. Keep up that good work, and thanks for letting us get an insight into what you do here.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you. I will just conclude this kind of conversation, as it were, back to the gentleman we began with. It's going to be a difficult night for you, but it's important that this is, I know, just to acknowledge your son again and to move on forward with things. So you'll be there.
Yes, of course, we'll all be there, and a lot of his friends from all different stages of his life will be there. So it will be hard, but it'll be worthwhile. Be a worthwhile night, and just keeping us, well, we don't have to try hard to keep his face in our minds, you know, and it'll be great.
We appreciate the coming to join us. It's not an easy thing to do, but we really appreciate it. And to yourself, Ruairi, for highlighting it, and to Clodagh, I think, who sent us the message in the first place.
Yep.
So best of luck on the evening and ongoing, and if we can help support that in any way at Lough Lurgan, we certainly will. Is there a chance to make donation to either organisations?
Yeah.
Online or otherwise?
So everything that we have done now is directly linked to the Lough Neagh Search and Rescue Just Giving page. So our tickets are now sold out. Tomorrow we're going live with our online raffle, so people will have the opportunity to support via that way. And then in a number of weeks we'll also be going live with our Just Giving page, so people that aren't able to make the event will also have an opportunity to donate that way. So yeah, loads of opportunity, and the response, like we said already, has just been unbelievable. So
And that Facebook page link again?
it's just Friends of Odhran, so if people can like and share that page, just to help us get that message out there, that would be the best way that people can help just at this moment.
Well, thank you, and Dave Morris and the Lough Neagh Rescue team here as well. That's it from me. I'm Donagh McKeown, Ruairi on camera, and another Lough Lurgan video.